Well, hello there. Looks like I've got a Simon and a Matthew present in the live chat already. And Simon says, nearly Friday, and it is, which is marvellous because it has been so far a 4-day week. Yeah, it's me. I'm here. We'll just let things warm up naturally. We don't want to. I'm not going to do any music or anything like that. So, but it does feel like a long time since I was last live with you on YouTube on a midweek slot on my channel. Because I think the last live was Saturday with Simon. Then last week I had to cancel because I was away in a hotel asleep. And then the week before that, yeah, I'm sure we had a live stream. I can't remember, to be honest. It's 2 weeks ago. It's been very hot, and hot weather does not agree with me. So, we shall see who else we get in here. We have got a Bad Books. Good evening, Mark. How are you? Nice to see you. Metal Man is here, I think, for the first time. Good evening, Metal Man. Nice to have you aboard. As well as Matt and Simon. So we've got seven showing, but only 4 or 5 people commenting. But we'll come. I'm sure you're going to say hello in a minute. Simon asks about the guitar behind me. It's actually quite a cheap guitar. It's from Gear for Music, which is an online store, which is actually pretty good. Yeah, and it's just one of their own brand ones because my previous electro-acoustic guitar got damaged beyond reasonable repair. So yeah, that was what I bought, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, something like that. So, yes, and here's Sir Pingu of Concord. It's nice to see you too, Pingu. Nice, Rob. Thank you. Nice, Pingu. Thank you very much. We shall keep going. We shall see who else appears on the live stream. It's not a special one. It's just a Wednesday night live stream. And I haven't got sort of a dancing troupe or fireworks or anything like that. So it's but just a couple of bits that maybe are worth mentioning. Hopefully you all caught Simon's premiere. It's on Simon's channel, but it was a Norman Butler video about Engine Jam. Very informative. Not something you'll find on mainstream media. They won't dare publish it. But on Simon's channel, there was a premiere literally half an hour ago about Engine Jam. So if you haven't watched that, then please do so. Simone is here saying hello with a hand like that, kind of. Pingu says, should I take a chance on a TD5 Discovery? This is in my opinion. Hopefully no jam in it. Not terribly up on discoveries unless it's a really early one, because I kind of know what engines and stuff's in them. But if it's later, then you'll need to fill me in a bit more. But I do like a disco. I think they're very nice. Simon says same as Trolls, denied by them. Yeah, Engine Jam, Trolls. You get all sorts of rubbish on the BBC. They spout nonsense most of the time. Yet serious topics like Engine Jam, Trolls, ignored. Just ignored. It's bad. Metal Man asks, and I'm not going to answer this myself because I'm going to let Simon from Project MGTF answer this. He says Engine Jam ? And Simon is about to answer it by the looks of it. Matt underscore asks, how would Bob Marley take his waffle butty? We jamming. Oh, Matt, I fell for it. I didn't read the comment ahead of time, and I've just fallen live on television with 9 people watching, which isn't quite a record audience, but yeah, I've just fallen for one of your fine jokes. So yeah. So this week I want to. I mean, it's just a catch up. I'm just here chilling out. It's far too warm. Don't like. I like it. I like it warm, but this is just too hot. Just yeah. Someone told me something earlier about something called a product called Doctor Balls, and this is something that people can put around their crotch area, sorry, and it prevents kind of stickiness in that area. Will I be trying this? No. Will I continue to take 2 showers per day? Yeah. Dr. Balls isn't coming near my crotch. Pingu Call says 2001 TD5. I would go for that if it's a good price. Which, knowing you, it'll be a good find. So, discos are lovely. Matt underscore says, love you, Rob. I love you too, Matt. Made my night. Boaty can't claim that. Project MGTF explains to Metal Man, Rover K series has a feature that creates a nutrition. You've written nutritious, Simon. Nutritious substance we refer to as jam. You need to remove it once a month. So yeah, it's a mixture of I think it's coolant, oil, and fruit, and it gets mixed in the engine over it's a very slow cooking process. It's better if it's on the motorway for this. Short bursts, stop start journeys don't make the best jam. I'm led to believe. And then once a month, you open this on the bottom of your preserving bowl, which is under the crankshaft on your engine. You've got preserving pan. Sorry, not preserving bowl. Sorry, miss. So you've got the preserving pan on the bottom of the engine, and it's got this little nut, normally towards the front, which you undo. That nut's called the jam nut, and you open that. And what you have to do is when you open it, you have to, because you've had to run the engine up to temperature to get the jam ready to come out. You have to pull the nut away very quickly. And that motion's called a jammy dodger. And if you don't do that, you end up with jam down your arm, which can then become contaminated. So obviously Simon's answered the question. I've elaborated. The person to ask is Norman Butler. So we'll let you go off and do that. Pingu says, don't mention cyclist. Ah, yes, cyclists. Love them. Answer is, I don't talk about lycra-clad cyclists. Lycra-clad cyclists taking up the whole road, chatting away as they're. I mean, if I was pedaling along at 22 miles per hour, I wouldn't be chatting to my mate next to me. I'd be out of breath. What is wrong with these people? Project MGTF, Simon says, there is Mark Freelander on my way to work. 1,500 is at a good price. Not in tune with those prices. So maybe someone else, maybe Pingu. Pingu's a very learned, wise monk, and often looks into a special pool to find these things out, amongst other things, and may well be able to answer your question, Simon. Product coolant, oil, and fruit, the best 3 food groups. Yeah, it's like an, because it's kind of alcoholic jam as well, isn't it? With the antifreeze in there, it's yeah. I don't think Sven's on the live stream. So I think Sven works in the evenings, but he would certainly tell us more about consuming antifreeze. Um, not that I'm making assertions that the Scandinavians drink antifreeze. I think they do though. Pingu needs a multi-purpose load lugger and can't find a large van worth buying locally. So thinking outside the van box. Disco. I've been watching on and off a series on YouTube. Well, not a series, a channel called Girl Outdoors. And she has many more subscribers than I do. So I'm not advocating you go over there and stop watching my beard. But she's got a Mark One disco that she drove around Scotland and basically she made it into a camper van and just lived in it. And it's quite there's some interesting episodes. So yeah, it's good. It's good. Have a watch. It's brilliant. But yeah, good choice, Pingu. Dinosaur Dad Ross says, "Hello, Rob and all. Looking sharp, Mr. B&B. I have probably had a haircut and severe beard trim since you last saw me. So thank you." Stephen S. Paul is here from the States, so we've got some UK folks in. But we've now got Australia and the States. It's good to hear from the former colonies. Simon says jammy dodger. That's Norman told me that's the maneuver when you pull the jam nuts, jam plug, whatever you want to call it, out of the preserving pan. You have to do it quickly. That jammy dodge maneuver, you have to do it, otherwise you get covered in jam, and it will normally go. Especially if you're wearing a short sleeve, you go down, get stuck in your armpit hair. You'll be pecking it out in the shower for weeks. Mark Bad Books asks, "Do you have to add fruit, or is Norman the fruit, being a Fruit Loop?" How Norman exactly makes engine jam. What Norman says and what Norman does are potentially two different things. So what his exact recipe, I don't know, he'll take it, I would say, to the grave, but knowing Norman, he'd be very stubborn and wouldn't even do that. But yeah, Loop, Mark, you've sussed that one. Pingu says, "Have you been sunbathing, or is it the lighting?" I've been out. I've been outdoors a lot. I've had a quiet weekend. The weekend just gone because, as some of you may know, Australia were playing England in the cricket at Edgbaston, Birmingham, and I spent most of the weekend watching that. Yeah. But yeah, but other than that, I've been going to lots of car shows, and I'm outside probably 50% of the time for work. So, and I go brown very quickly as well. So I may be slightly tanned, Pingu, but I've not paid for it. Simon says, _ says hello to Ross, which you can read. Simon from Project MGF says, "Cyclists riding two abreast." Ooh. Is that like four breasts then? In 50-mile-an-hour plus roads, does moo nutting. It does my nutting as well. Pingu asks Simon which Mark disco, which is a pertinent question because, of course, the Mark Ones they've got lots of rover bits in, and of course the Mark Twos have lots of what would it be at that time? Ford bits in, probably. Ross says hello to people. _ says pure evil, who I don't believe is here, would still appreciate the Dark Monks, considering 2025 as the year of the 25. I think if those of us who share the faith of the Dark Monks, if we pray to them before we go to bed, which involves leaning into the bathroom sink and going and seeing what you hear back as a prayer, then it may be that 25 is the year of the 25. Worth a try. Power of prayer. Don't underestimate it. Simon answers about the mark of the disco, so we shall let Pingu um, come back on that. Simon said, "Girl outdoors A." She's a pretty girl, I have to say. She's a very pretty girl, and quite brave. Yeah, girl outdoors. Mm. But Penny, mm. um, underscore talks to Ross. Simon said, "We've got ourselves a multinational hoedown. We certainly have with those Australians, Americans, and Englishings." Um, Pingu reckons, and I didn't say he reckons, but I'm adding that in because it looks like he's reckoning 800 to 1500 for a half decent Mark One, I would say. So if it's advertised at 1500, then it's probably there. I mean, the bodywork can get quite ratty um, on those, but yeah, they are nice. They are very nice. I knew someone. I know someone who through work, so I can't talk too much about it. But they actually bought it as their daily, and it's a three door as well, so it's really nice. Simon, question: Is a Mark One Discovery a Tourer? Anyone actually? Anyone? Not just Simon, but Simon, you're the Tourer. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Um, Someone goes brown faster than mustard undies when Boaty's driving. Yep. Well, I did see today that the 190 is fixed, which is good because 190s are marvelous. 1999 is here. Good evening. How are you? Saying evening, Rob, and everyone. Hope all okay. I'm okay. I hope you're okay. Simon says in cricket, when it's raining and they all go in that little house for a rest, what sandwiches and cakes do they eat? I used to play cricket quite a lot, and tea in the special little house. My favourite tea was bread and butter, ham salad with salad cream, no mayonnaise or vinaigrette or anything like that. I like those things, but it had to be salad cream for cricket tea. Pint of orange squash, cup of tea, and some kind of normally Victoria sponge. Brilliant. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's normally ham or cheese based, and then um, a cake, a layered cake filled with jam. Norman would like that actually as well because yeah, you could make Victoria sponge with engine jam. I'm sure. Um, Ross says, "Oh dear, are we allowed to talk about cyclists on this stream? Does Rob know about the raised voices on both? I do not know about the raised voices on Boaty's stream. Now, someone's going to have to tell me. I mean, normally on a YouTube live stream, there's only one voice. So the fact you say voices piques my interest somewhat. So please do amplify on that. Pingu says Boaty's really not impressed with 2024 yachts 20 hashtag yachts 24 hashtag yachts year of the streetwise 2024 is a thing because there's a Facebook group and a hashtag, so it's a thing. Kind of got to move on from that. It's happening. I'm encouraging as many of you as possible to acquire a streetwise because values will peak next year, I'm sure. But Boaty will have to come along. It's I think of the community channels and our supporters, we're quorate on this. So Yachts24 got Colin from over in Northern Ireland on side. He's on side. Yeah, Yachts24. Sorry, got to say it right because I'm not down with the kids. Hashtag Yachts24 is happening. Mark Bad Books had an RTA with a cyclist at 50 miles per hour on a dual carriageway. It was not nice. Luckily, he did not splat. He had cuts and bruises and bike undamaged, and hopefully learnt his lesson. Simon replies to Bad Books. Yeah, people having to brake hard and do stupid things because they're cyclists in the way, wearing lycra, yeah, dangly bits on full display if they decide to get off their bike. It's wrong. Simon says can be a tour if it sits higher than a car. I think a disco on that basis is then a tourer. Simon asks Simone how she is. Simon then says salad creme is awesome. Even the vegan stuff. Not tried the vegan stuff. Will do. I do like a vegan sausage roll from Greg's. They've got so many. It's got so many additives in it. It tastes actually better than pork sausage. I shall leave that there. Bad Books never saw the cyclist. They're sneaky bastards. They're like the Luftwaffe. Matt _ says the post Abingdon show on 16 of July is having different sections for certain models. 20 years of the Streetwise. So that's like a precursor to 2024 being the year of the Streetwise. So Matt, I encourage you as Boaty's unpaid intern and mine and Simon's understudy to get Boaty on board by whatever means necessary with hashtag YOTS24. Thank you. 20th Streetwise. And the ZT2, yes, ZT260 is 20 years old and 40 years of the Maestro, and also 30 years of the Rover 600. So there's a bevy of Rover Group birthdays this year. So I do think that our prayers should with the Dark Monk should kind of swing to, having a Rover decade. So it's 2023 is year of the Tourer, but obviously that's mainly thinking about MG ZTTs and Rover 75s, 420 GSIs, any Austin Rover MG estate. It's fine. BMW Tour, no. 2024 is given year of the Streetwise, but I think 2025 through to 2029, it should be Austin Rover, MG, British Leyland based. Decade of BL or decade of Rover. Decade. We should have decades as well. So get your thinking caps on for the 2030s, the roaring 2030s, when we mimic what we did 100 years ago and go into a massive global recession and people having to eat soup off the streets. Oh, I got carried away then. I've got a couple of topics, or probably thank yous, really. Well, I've got one topic and I've forgotten what the other topic was, actually, which is YOTS24. So we're covering that. That's one of them. So, post Abingdon show, I'm going to be at that. In what car, I don't know. I'll be in a car, that's for sure. But yeah, I'll be there on one of the days. I'll see how I'm feeling, whether I go for the Saturday or the Sunday. Simon's replying to they're having a debate about cyclism. Matt mentioned lycra wearing cyclists being a hazard. He did not appreciate my opinion at all. Well, and that your opinion is valid, because I know you put lycra on them and they kind of oblivious to everything else. Obviously, apart from the feeling of their bulge, which is getting chafed on a seat that's like a razor blade. Simon asks, is the post Abington thing at the same place as the Pride of Longbridge thing? No, it's in Leicestershire, rural Leicestershire or rural Northamptonshire, which I can't remember exactly, but I shall find out. And Matt, I know Matt has been very helpful in posting that. I know Dan Hooper, friend and someone in the car community, invited me to it ages ago, but I know and has posted it on my Facebook group, Beards and Bangers, the private group. Um, but I think Matt's posted it on all the community channel pages and various other Rover and MG pages. So it's should be good. Just got to decide what to go in. Uh, Ross says, "What other sport do you stop for a cup of tea and a slice of cake? MMA, F1? Can't quite remember. I think the other is probably something to do with bowling, isn't it? So the not bowling as in cricket bowling or ten-pin bowling. The kind of bowls that people with grey hair, pipes, and slip-on shoes congregate for at various out-of-town establishments, and then you've got lawn bowls and crown green bowls and I don't know, finger up each hole bowls. I can't remember. But yeah, I think I would imagine in old person bowling, um, sorry, lawn. I shouldn't say that. It's very. It's a pejorative term, I think. Um, Lawn bowls, crown green bowls. I'll take my glasses off again because that reflection of the screen in my coating on my glasses really annoys me. I can well imagine them, having got their heart rate up to about 95, probably feel that's enough and have to go and have a cup of tea, a slice of Victoria sponge, maybe preceded by a cucumber sandwich and a macaroon. Or macaron, as we should say, sorry. But where did we get to? Simon says, recycling. I used to off-road cycle quite a lot. Can't see the joy in riding on roads. No. Please, cyclists, please don't. Unless you're in like a dedicated cycle lane, but going down the middle of a country road is not clever. I've actually seen someone on a very windy, narrow downhill lane, a cyclist going dead at him. He's got no chance of getting around him. He's not going to stop, and he's gone. So he's windy country road, and you're worried about a vehicle, a motor vehicle bumping into another motor vehicle. This cyclist, he literally went straight into the badge of, I don't know, it's a Mercedes Vito Sprinter, one of those kind of vans, and hurt himself because he was cycling like an absolute plonker. Cars don't go cycling. He was cycling faster than the car should go down this windy country downhill slope. Enough said. Let's move on from cycling, please. Simone says, "Good, thanks. Rather distracted. I'm playing a video game, but I'm listening. Thank you, Simone." I was going to warm up for YOTS24. Yeah, we kind of fluffer YOTS24 fluffer event. Underscore thinks Bitey is buying the silver Streetwise. Did you have shared that one? Oh, okay. So he's disdainful about YOTS24. Yes, he's looking at a Streetwise. It's not time to flip one of those. That'll be next year when the value goes soaring of Streetwise because of our valiant efforts to prepare for YOTS24 and then deliver on YOTS24. Simone has been fairly busy this week. That's good. I hope it's good busy, Simone. And I've just scrolled far too far. Blimey, I have skipped on a bit. Where have I got to? Simone being fairly busy this week. Gaming is life. 2025 year of the 25-200. Yeah, I think year of the 25 or in brackets 200 because they're the same car, just different lights. Three different styles of light. Yeah, it's fine. Simone's playing Lego Harry Potter. Very frustrating game. I'm sure it is. Stephen S. Paul asks a question. What is a Range Rover Classic? We have a brown 1985 two-door Range Rover in at the moment. Sold new in Beverly Hills, California. 3 previous owners. If it's in good condition over here, that's worth a fair bit. There's a garage stroke cafe, and that is quite new. So I think they're going to try another Gilks or Motorist between Oxford and Whitney on the A40, and I can't think of the life of me what it's called, which is a real shame. And they specialize in Mark One Land Rovers, and they have got some up at some astronomical prices. Not necessarily sure they're worth it, but certainly Stephen over here, a brown 3-door or 2-door Range Rover. I'm guessing it's a 3.5 litre V8 petrol. Just guessing, might be wrong. Yeah, then that's desirable. If it's right-hand drive, then let me know. Simon answers Simone. Matt is not anti-cyclist. It was just from recent observations as a pedestrian. Well, then you're a neutral. If you're a pedestrian, then you're neither a driver nor a cyclist, so you can offer such an opinion, I would say. Bad books. Why do you have to say things like this and get me all steamed up? It's supposed to be relaxing. My dulcet tone is supposed to help some of you go to sleep. Bad Book says, saw a lovely yellow Morris Ital van in British Rail livery today. Looked original. That just sounds wonderful. Pingu says, I thought you were keeping Brum. I think you mean Bram, but if you think I should keep someone from Birmingham in my house, then I can, I suppose. It'd be a bit weird, but it's fine. No, Bram's going to go. I'm not going to explain why now because I don't want to spoil things, but things will develop in the Beards and Bangers stable in some predefined ways and some ways that are up in the air, which maybe you get that reference, Pingu. And congrats! And this is my second and last topic that I was planning to discuss. Is Pingu says to me, "Congrats on reaching 4K watched hours." Yeah, it's been I've not actually made a video for a couple of weeks. I've just been really busy. Apart from last weekend when I wasn't busy, but I was busy watching the cricket. So yes, I've got some videos to be making, which I shall do and catch up on. But yeah, this week I notched over 2,500 subscribers, which I'm chuffed about. It's really kind of kicked on in the last couple of since Pride of Longbridge, I put it down to, or since then it would seem. But yeah, yesterday I clicked over the 4,000 watch hours, which for those of you who don't know, you can't become a YouTube partner until you've got at least 1,000 subscribers and at least 4,000 watch hours, along with some other predefined criteria that are compulsory. And the second piece is the jigsaw is complete. I'm not doing it to make loads of money. Any money that I make through YouTube, I will reinvest in the channel, i.e. the cars or things that will support the channel. Yes, I'm looking forward to that first payment of £2.40 in a couple of months' time. It's going to be epic. But thank you, Pingu, and your support. And I want to thank everyone, actually. Obviously, you lot are the core supporters because you give up an hour and a half of your time on a normally Wednesday, but tonight is a Thursday evening, and support me on these live streams. And I ramble on and satirize, take the piss out of whatever you want to call it, these comments, and it's absolutely marvelous. But yeah, people are being very supportive, getting some great comments in the main, and I want to say thank you. I'm not getting tearful. I just drunk some ginger beer rather too quickly, and I've now got gas. Um, Matt's going to send Simon a link. I didn't realize Simon had a broken chain, but there we are. And I've now skipped the. I'm the trouble is I've got this laptop that's got a touch screen and a keyboard mouse pad thing, and I kind of jump between the two, and I should just use the mouse pad thingy with the cursor thingy because that's what I understand. Um, Stephen S. Paul says that will be a Range Rover Classic. Yes, it is. Then yeah, it's the Prince Philip Range Rover. Matt recommends I go in anything to the post Abingdon Weekender, but I recommend clothes. I I didn't think it was that kind of event. I thought it was a you know naturist thing, but um, Simon says Crown Green Bowls looks like my jam, but I wouldn't want to be the youngest there. I am 99.98% sure you would be the youngest there by I think even the long suffering the man with the permanently broken MGB Alan Jeffries would be the youngest there. Um, such is the demographic of Crown Green bowlers. Um, Darren Ball is here. Good evening, Rob, he says, and good evening to you, Darren. How are you? I was gonna, oh, here we are. Right, so I can't just turn up at this post Abingdon weekender. There is camping there apparently as well. So maybe as there's camping, I can do my. So I did a sweaty. What was it? A sweaty, more than sweaty saunter around the MG 100 at Silverstone, and I thank Joseph Lloyd in advance for the kind of inspiration for the title of the video. So obviously he does his more than shambolic shuffle or a less than professional live stream or something. Comes up with some great titles for his videos as Joseph Lloyd. And I tagged him saying thank you for the inspiration, and he did get back to me. But yeah, I did a sweaty saunter around the MG 100 at Silverstone. So I'm wondering if there's camping at the post Abingdon Weekender, if I do a meaningful mince around that event, which I didn't know was ticketed, and don't even know where it is. So I will have to. I'll have to check up on that underscore. I shall finish reading your comments as well, which is remiss. I got carried away there by meaningful minces and more than sweaty saunters and a slightly shambolic shuffle, all that kind of stuff. Underscore it's ticketed events. This is the post Abingdon Weekender, 15th, 16th of July, up in the East Midlands. An underscore says about this: it's a ticketed event, but donation based. From what I can see, £5 gets you a brochure and sticker. Well, that sounds like £5 well spent. Who doesn't like a sticker? Mark Bad Book says my dad was the Red Cross first aid for Hartlepool. My dad was the Red Cross first aid for Hartlepool Crown Green Bowls Club. The green regularly got stolen and sold off as turf. So was he first aid to the sports people, if one can call them that? If they had keeled over from excitement when they were Crown Green bowling, or was he like a security first aid for the turf? He had to go and put some new turf in and pat it down and make sure it's still a Crown Green. But brilliant, Mark, absolutely brilliant. Matt says one of the roads I witnessed a bad cyclist on recently is the road where Boaty mentioned getting triple figures on the dash. Was that his temperature gauge going over 100? I don't know. I haven't seen that video. I'm really this time of year. I'm just behind with watching stuff. So I try and make a point of watching certain videos and making sure I like, comment, blah blah blah. And I've got really behind with it. So when there's a proper rainy day where it actually rains all day and I can't do anything, I'll be having a YouTube binge fest. Yeah. So answer was yeah. Both still doesn't believe in yachts, even though he's eyeing up a streetwise. Yeah. Honestly, Bellend. Bellend. So many around these days as well. I think Bellendery as a, I don't know if it's a hobby or a lifestyle, but I mean, call it what you will, has got worse since the COVID pandemic. Um, yeah, I think people have forgotten what the giveaway line markings mean on a road. I think that's definitely something that that's caught my eye, shall we say? Um, uh, Underscore says 2025 year of the R3. Okay, well we intone that to the Dark Monks who decide, which year, whether it's going to be the Chinese year of the snake or the 2023 year of the Torah. They decide. They do what they got to do. We intone that as a blessed prayer to them, and we shall await their verdict. Dinosaur Dad says, "Hey everyone, any opinions on the lost sub? Lost, obviously, terrible story. I have got some opinions, but it's too soon. Because it'll come across as being humorous, but it's actually not. So I'm gonna do my take another time, like later. Um, Simon says, I feel I'm out of touch with car prices. Fanny for sale for 2.6k seems rich to me, but then again, I've not seen it in the flesh. Which Fanny haven't you seen in the flesh? Uh, Tell us which Fanny you mean, Simon. Is Fanny someone? Oh, is Fanny one of Boaty's cars? Is that one of Boaty's cars or Mustard's cars? Tell me, someone tell me. Um, Simon gets back to answer that on. Oh god, yeah, I think we'll end up not finding anything. I assume there are sharks around there that would eat the bodies. I think the pressure, the massive pressure that's caught the subs. I think the subs kind of had catastrophic structural failure, um, and I think the pressure of the water at, was it 4,000 meters down, something like that, would just obliterate most things anyway, as it did the submarine. Sadly, um, yeah, the death of the submariners or the tourists or explorers, whatever you call them, um, would have been instantaneous, from what I'm told. Matt says terrible having Ross, but a daft idea to get going in a sub that isn't suitable. Yeah. Simon says back to Pingu that Brum, the car from the kids program. I don't think they had certainly my BRM in that kids program. So yeah, Bram is the BRM. Simon. So Project MGTF is, so when I say Simon, I mean Project MGTF, which most of you, I think, or actually, in fact, everyone who's commenting will know. Those of you who aren't commenting may not know. But so Simon is Project MGTF, who has stalled 242 subs. He couldn't eat anymore. Although the Subway diet is apparently a one way of losing weight. I don't quite know how. If you are watching this back, if you're watching this, if you're here now and you don't subscribe to Project MGTF, please make a note or open another tab or do whatever your newfangled device does and look up Project MGTF's YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button and watch and like all his videos. Yeah, no, Simon's got some interesting and very varied stuff, so make sure you check him out. Stephen S. Paul says, Boss bought about 3 weeks ago. Just had delivered on Tuesday. Runs nice. Interior was covered in bed sheets and there was a pillowcase wrapped around the steering wheel column. It sounds like that car's had an interesting life. Um, Simon says, it's since Henny appeared on your channel, she brings all the boys to the yard. That's what it must be. Henrietta Pye, who's now looking very nice. I've actually not seen Henny with her new wheel colour. So that will have to be done soon. But yeah, it's undoubtedly Henny bringing all the boys to the yard. Pingu Bad Books gets back to Ross about the submarine tragedy in the North Atlantic. But Pingu says, I've been proved that people will watch any old crap on YouTube. QED. As a video of a pigeon taking off from the ground uploaded for a laugh got 4K views in the first couple of hours. I saw that earlier, actually. Yeah, there is some people will watch. It's random what people watch. I mean, for me, YouTube was always about mainly recipes. It's like, how do I make this? Rather than reading the book, which is difficult. I just watch a video. Very helpful. But that's the only time you should look on YouTube, to be honest. But well done, Pingu. Underscore says streetwise with a roofed, underscore outdoors or beards outdoors or bangers outdoor. Oh, girl outdoors bangers. Sorry, I just completely drifted off then. Simon says shorts are a mystery to him. They are to me. I've never had much luck with shorts on YouTube. To be honest, don't quite know what you do. So I know someone who's developing a YouTube channel about something a bit different to what we focus on, and he's kind of got the eye. So I think for me, my gut feeling is a not complete non-expert is shorts. If you're going to do shorts, do shorts. If you're going to do full length videos, do full length videos. That's how it seems better to me. But what do I know? I'm not, not successful. But yeah, we could have a something out Streetwise Outdoors series, couldn't we? Going back to Matt's point, and Matt agrees about shorts, saying, "Me too, Simon, especially with my legs." And Simon reacts to my project about camping and mincing around the post Abingdon weekender. I don't know if it's that kind of weekender, but we can see. And Bad Books, Mark Bad Books advises Pingu that videos of podgering pigeons could make you a fortune. Yeah, and Attenborough would probably beg you to narrate as well. Just like a 10-second clip of Attenborough's voice narrating your podgering pigeons videos would be epic, wonderful. Pingu then does lots of duck symbols along with one, of course, penguin. Time for tea for Ross. And when Ross says tea, he means his morning tea, not for those. Ross is in Dinosaur Dad. Ross is in Australia, so he's not going to have a Victoria Sponge, Beckham, or a macaron. It's property. It's like you need to get tea down your neck. I've just woken up time. Simone is going to some shows soon. I'll have to think of a funny name for a walk around. Yeah, I think everyone's got to challenge. Everyone who's got a YouTube channel who goes to car shows has got to do a Joseph Lloyd style title to their video, but they can't use Sweaty Saunter because I've used that or Meaningful Mints. There might be a couple of hints on either mine or Project MGTF's channel about other names for other Joseph Lloyd style names. And Joseph, if you do watch this back, then I have great respect for you. I'm not taking the piss, but I just think your shambolic shuffle method and the actual name of the title, your kind of strap line is brilliant. So, but I'm having Meaningful Mints. Sorry, everyone, that's mine. But yeah, Simone, do it. Simon, you got to do it as well. Pingu, get it in your shorts somehow. Oh, sorry, that sounded really off color, didn't it? Get it in your shorts somehow. Sounded very red blooded and testosterone fueled. I do apologise. I'm just going to shut my door and open a window because it's getting rather breezy in here. Plus, I'm going to do something that I can't film on YouTube. And I should look at some more comments. But yeah, Simone, good. You're going to some shows. I've just lost the bloody comments again. Blimey, we've got plenty of comments. God, you lot. I'm probably droning on more than I normally do. Where did we get to? Pingu says that Penny brings all the boys to my channel. In his opinion, I that first video was pretty successful. I have to say, I don't know, 1,500 views, maybe something like that. Yeah, or one of the one of the Streetwise videos. So Penny's a little bit of body work doing. So I'm going to lovingly caress Penny's body back into shape. And yeah, she's already had a service, a minor service. So she had her oil flushed, changed, and fortified. He had new air filter, pollen filter, new resistor for the heater fan. Had her nipples greased. She's a spoiled girl. I tell you that now. Simone says Boaty has failed miserably in his quest to buy a City Rover. So is that why he's kind of migrating onto the Streetwise territory, whilst slamming the idea of hashtag YOTS24. Mark says he was the first. So going back to Mark's dad, who used to be the first aider at the Crown Green bowling place. He was the first aider of the Olympic players, mainly heart complications due to getting overly excited. Yeah. One of them must have scored a goal or something. Let's just scroll carefully up. Simon gets back to Simone. Simon helps me saying Fanny is the black MGF. So that's mustards, right? I've got lost because I seem to have got lots of MGFs and TFs all of a sudden up there. Underscores says, yes, my yellow submarine joke was a little too soon. Went down like a Titan sub. Okay, I'll say what I think. The Titan sub, it looks like someone built it in their spare time in the evenings and weekends in their back garden. And there's been no health and safety controls. And this isn't satire. Serious. And apparently you have to sign to go on the mission. You have to sign this disclaimer that says, this may result in death. Death could occur. So basically, there's no compensation for, I don't know, the litigious society we now live in. There may well be somewhere, but yeah, that's my opinion. Bad Book says Donkey's bell end is more hard hitting. I've never been hit by one, so I couldn't comment. But as a slur, it certainly is. Pingu says, how much have you spent on your new project, Simon? That's not for me to answer. Underscore says he's a billionaire. He should be used to pressure. Maybe a bit too soon, Matt. I don't know. Simon will not discuss money with Pingu. Simone says that they said the sub was being controlled by a game console. Sounds like a terrible idea, dear. Sadly, I think the people on board have perished. Yeah, I think that's the news. I got a news flash, I don't know, an hour ago, and I think they found some debris maybe now. So it is very sad, and hopefully they died painlessly and instantly, not some kind of long drawn out nastiness, because that's the bit that kind of I dwell on a little bit. Um, Matt has just bought a 23-year-old Escort for £300. And how long is that for? Stephen S. Paul says 2.5 miles down. Imagine sitting next to the guy who's got horrific gas. Oof. Yeah, I think seriously, I think the because they're like 4,000 meters below or 3,000 something below. The pressure of the water down there is something immense. So I think the sub's broken up, and they would have died instantly. They wouldn't known anything. So yeah, no having to breathe in farts, which is the real worry in that kind of situation. Matt says, "Forget that. She just told me I only get her for an hour. He's going now. Well, enjoy." Um, Simon tells Simone something about Xbox controllers, and I've just jumped the comments again. Simon says, "I did a week's worth of shorts on the PC and got hardly any views. Did one on the phone and got 1.8k views. Madness." I think shorts should be done in portrait, because that's how they are for phones, because they look really weird if you look at it on your PC. So I think one thing I do think about shorts, they should be done in portrait, not landscape. And I don't think the 4K or higher definition actually matters too much. What have we got here? Simone says, "I can't afford to buy a Streetwise. I have 2 cars and 2 bikes to fix." You don't have to buy a Streetwise, Simone. It'd be nice if as many people as they could. But it's, those who've got them, enjoy them. Those who don't, just appreciate them, and then watch the values soar. Watch their stock increase. Others was, "Hang on, poddering videos gets you money as well." Well, that's new. It got me arrested. Simone says, "Possibly to something." I'm not quite sure what. That's probably answering. Pingu spotted a shadowy figure spotted next to my guitar. Yeah, I think it could be a dark monk. Actually, has come to have a chat with me. Aimlessly ambling _ suggests as a name for a Joseph Lloyd inspired title. Matt Dickens, I just saw saying, "Howdy, hello, Matt Dickens, how are you?" Simon found the JL consulting music the other day. Oh yes. I don't. Yeah. Hooked on Classic says non-shambolic, non-shuffle has been taken too. I think that's what Joseph actually replied to me in the comment he kindly left me on said video. Underscore says Jesus Pingu. That's momentous. I didn't realize that Pingu was the Messiah. How big is it if it doesn't fit in your shorts? Bump. Simon says Louis news. Louis is in the garden somewhere, which is where he's spending most of his time, because he can go and sit in the shade and cool off, and then try and chase moths. I'm just going to slurp of water. Excuse me. Oh, that's better. But Louis is doing very well. He doesn't like the hot weather. He just likes sleeping. Pingu says a beardy bumble. That could be done. And it could be multiple beards as well, couldn't it? And Hooked on Classic, Simone says, and Gimbal Bimble has been taken. Matt Dickens, number plate legend, says, "I wouldn't get in that sub on dry land, let alone 2.5 miles down underwater." Agree. And Simon says it looks like something from Scrap Heap Challenge. Yep. A toilet roll for the rich people. Apparently that sub did have the Titan did have a toilet, which was basically a pan, a kazi, with a curtain in front of it. So the rich have to get down and dirty sometimes. Ross says James Cameron went down to the Marinara. Oh, that's the source name. Mariana. I know what I'm saying. Trench in a sub built by an English TV engineer, literally in his shed. That James Cameron's a fucking nutter. Ross suggests another video title in the Joseph Lloyd genre, a Rainbow Ramble. That sounds good. Matt says one of the reporters said the sub is 3 times the size of the captain's bath on the Titanic. To give an idea of scale, I don't know how big his bloody bath was. I don't think that sub was that big. Yeah. Simon says to Dunster, many a great thing comes out of a shed. It's true. And Pingu says, good afternoon, with a turtle or a tortoise. And after it, have I missed? Oh, I've got it on top chat. Have I missed someone or something? Let's have a live chat. All messages are available. No, I don't think I've missed anything. Ross suggests that Simon asks the A team, to which Simon laughs hysterically. Simone Cat's news, which is very important, and again, it's not on mainstream media enough. Simone says, my cat Georgia got into a fight the other day. Louis did as well. On top of my man cave, Louis was with another cat, and they were hissing at each other and going, not actually doing anything. But yeah, cat. It's horrible when you hear cats fighting because it sounds, like that. Simon says maybe we should have Louis t-shirts. That's a good idea. I like that. And Pinky suggests as another video title, "Rolling with Rob." And then secondly, Rob roll. Now, Rob rolling is something else. That's like a very specialist sport, which I can't discuss for legal reasons. And Bad Books asks rightly after the health of Simone's cat. And Simone answers by saying she's just had tufts of fur missing, but no injuries, growling like mad for ages. To which Bad Book says, poor little Georgia. And that's the end of the story, children. Well, I think you've typed admirably, and I've read admirably to keep up, even though I keep skipping. Ross asks, so Rob, and that's me, is the 260 up and running? No, the 260 is having it, so it's got to have its clutch sorted out. So Austin has so far just sort of he's just stripping it down. So he can basically not drop the engine, but tilt the engine. And we're having the new air filter housing put back, or the correct air filter housing put back in. So I'm not rushing them on it, which is fine. So yeah, it'll be fixed when it's fixed, but it's back on a 2-poster. Matt Dickens says, I can deal with cats crying at night. It's the foxes. That sound is horrific. I don't know what sound they make, actually. I mean, I tend to, when someone's asleep, I'm generally asleep. And not a lot can wake me up. So, and Pingu concurs with Matt Dickens. Simon says, what is the best cup o' soup to drink in a Rover 75? I intend to find out. There you are, serious for you. I don't drink cup o' soup, so it's not something I can taste in my mouth's nose's eye. Simone has foxes here. They sound horrible. I need to Google or YouTube for fox sounds. Mark's brother has reformed a 1-year-old ragdoll cat, which has hidden under his sofa for 5 weeks. Vet says they're very shy. Goodness. 5 weeks? I must have eaten and gone for a delightful poo, surely. Um, underscore wants to know what the fox said. Simone says, chicken Simon is the only soup I like. I didn't know there was a flavour called chicken Simon. Now I know that. I may have to actually go and buy some cup O soups. Matt Dickens says Scotch broth. Scotch broth. Pingu says, do you know how much a T series engine weighs? Effing heavy. Yeah, they're not. Are they still? Are they cast iron block and alloy head? They're not. They're not all cast iron. Please tell me they're not. Yeah, me needs to get a T series. And Matt says, yes, Rob. Google what does the fox say. I will. I will Google that. And Simon says fox sounds or fox hounds. Stephen S. Paul has an update, which is breaking news because it's in asterisks. They've already found some debris, a license plate with the word glug on it. There's going to be so many jokes coming out of this, and it's really sad. But yeah. Mark says it eats very well and goes to the bathroom when brother's out. Right, okay. So it just cripplingly shy. Matt says you YouTubers need to chat with Pure Evil. He has some decent plans for his original 25. He's been on his parents' drive for 9 years. We'll have to chat to Pure Evil. I don't know who Pure Evil, what his actual name is. And I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he does subscribe to me. I might well have been in one of these live streams. But yeah, put him in touch. Pingu says new merch ideas. Simon chicken soup. It's yeah. Just imagine the picture of the little. I don't know. They're in a sachet like that kind of big, I guess. A picture of Norman Butler peering out at you from the soup packet. Sorry, that tickled me for some reason. And Simone says, for fox's sake, absolutely. Matt says, should have painted it yellow. Everyone lives in a yellow submarine. Matt Dickens says, next video, Rob has Googled foxes crying at night, now can't sleep. Yeah, I'll be like, oh. Be like one of those sounds that you hear and it drives you insane. Yeah, I'm now thinking of Andor, the Star Wars galaxy thingy-majig. Matt says Adam is Pure Evil's name. I will keep an eye out for Adam. And Simon says to Matt, world's worst reaction video. Pingu says with jam, Norman noodle soup. Yeah. And Dan says where. Wow, fox hat. Which is what I said yesterday when I was traipsing around central London trying to find somewhere. Stephen S. Paul, like a beam of light, like a lightsaber through mist, brings us back to reality. Or not, because this doesn't happen in the UK. Normally, what Stephen S. Paul says does not happen in the UK. We don't get people just giving us Subaru brats and such like. We've actually found a litter of Bengal kittens once in the back of a Dodge Dayvan. They've got to go somewhere. Well, you lot have been lovely. Lovely. And Simon asks, was there an alternative to the Streetwise in 2005? Streetwise was only built 03, 04, right? and then became the MG3 available in China only from about 2007, perhaps. But they called it the yeah, it was the Streetwise, but they called it the MG3. Was there an alternative Streetwise in 2005? No. No, I think the next car, the car that I always think of next after the Streetwise is the Citroen C something Cactus. So the one with the like the basically the straight jacket, the padded cell built around it. Just it was like Streetwise, but they just made it bigger because it's French, basically. Pingus is walking, yeah. Bad Book says Bengal cats are very vocal. They are, and very pretty as well. Simon maybe chips in with a RAV4, maybe they were quite nice at the time. Matt takes his MG3S. Yeah, that was it, MG3 SW. So streetwise station wagon tourer. Matt Ball is here. Good evening, Matt Ball. I'm a bit late to the show. How's it going? It's going well. And Ross says, "What do you keep doing to that dwarf off screen when I lean down there like that?" Again, for legal reasons, I can't say. Simon says the Honda that Honda CRV thing. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Yeah. Pingus is Honda HRV launched in 1999. Yeah, that's quite a distinctive shape from memory. Simone did consider a Citroen Cactus, but I hated the interior. I know someone who had one as a courtesy car, and they were less than pleased. And this is going back to that kind of era. So if they'd have been given a Rover Streetwise as their courtesy car, they would, of course, been delighted, mollified, add your own adjective, basically. So someone bought a Beetle instead, and Beetles are very nice, and they have the little vase for the flower in the front, in the dashboard at the front. I seem to remember they did, and my hay fever has just really suddenly decided to let rip. So I will be going fairly soon. Simon would love a DS3. They're nice. Pingu Contra is a Joy Machine 2006. Is that the band or the popular music group ensemble? Sorry. Yeah. What did the Streetwise do? It launched a generation of cars that just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So maybe Rover, by inventing something some of us love, they set a bad trend that that others got carried away with. And now Nissan Micra is absolutely enormous. Mark says VW Polo Dune. Is that the padded? Is that a padded Polo from memory? No. Oh, no. That's what Honda called the HRV. You silly sausage! I did not know that. Simon says to Bad Books runs in spice. Oh, this is like a Dune stroke Star Wars reference. Spice running and such like. Matt has two Naked Streetwise. So Naked Streetwise is a Rover 75 MGZR. Naked and slightly flattened, shall we say. Yeah, we like an R3. We like what they look like. We like what they do. We don't care if they're called ZR, Streetwise, or 25. We just love them. Stephen S. Paul returns to the subject of Bengals. Those Bengals wound up at the local ASPCA, which I'm assuming is the American equivalent of the RSPCA, where they were all checked out and I assume adopted. You will find stray animals in cars from time to time. I'm sure you do. I guess it's something one gets used to rather than going, oh, snookums, when one finds a litter of kittens in a car that's been handed in. But your scrap trade sounds a bit different to ours. Pingu says Polo Dune nearest thing to a streetwise, in my opinion. And if I was able to use StreamYard yet properly, rather than just being added by Simon, which is easy because I just click a button and then I'm there. Then next time I'll be able to show you a picture. I'll be able to Google a Polo Dune, sorry, and show it to you on the screen, which is clever. Simon says R3 equals 200, or was there a different prefix? No, R3 is the 95 on 200 through to the last 25s and ZRs made in 2005. Don't you know? Simon says underscore, that's what's on Henrietta's wheel caps, the Mars rovers. That's what it is. So you've got the wheel caps with that Mars rover symbol, then you've got the horsey Dewberry thing over the top, which is rather neat. Matt didn't know that. Right, I'm going to go because I need to go and take some hay fever medication relief. I need to deal with the dwarf. I need to deal with the cat. And I've got to go to work tomorrow. Simone has messaged Stephen, and I will continue for this because this is really, really important. So Simone asks Stephen a question that has oft crossed my mind. Stephen, do you have a law there that allows you to break a car window if an animal is in it with no air? We do. Now, Simone, I thought the law was we couldn't do that unless something's changed. And if it did change, do you know when it was? Because I thought if you find a dog or an animal stuck in a car, especially this time of year when it's scorching hot, you're not allowed to break the window because it's someone else's property. You have to ring the police, which is no disrespect to the police. It's not their fault they haven't got enough numbers. It's a bit of a lottery with how quickly or if at all they'll come out. So yeah, I'd be interested to. I'm going to hang on for Stephen S. Paul's answer on that, and also Simone's reply to my question about how maybe the law has changed. Ross says most wrecked Saxos in the UK have litters of Rizzlers. They do. And filters and stuff. Matt says best way to break a car window is with a piece of a spark plug. And Simon Beasley, who I don't think has been here before, says hello from Leighton Buzzard, which is the next town north to where I live. So it's very nice to hear from someone local. So hello, Simon Beasley. How are you? Thank you for joining us. And I'm not going to be carrying on for too long. So I start these at 9 o'clock, and I generally go on for an hour to an hour and a half, which I think is quite enough, to be brutally honest with you. But Simon Beasley, welcome aboard, and hello back from Aylesbury. Simone says, as far as I'm aware, we're allowed to. It may have changed. But so I remember a few years ago, someone saying, no, you can't do that. Stephen S. Paul says, I found baby bunnies, old turtles, and even a pair of ball pythons. What are ball pythons? That sounds interesting, but at the same time terrifying, because I don't want pythons anywhere near my balls. Just saying. Simon Busy, enjoy the Chiltern Hills Rally. I enjoyed I was very busy because I was on the rally control. So if you came through that way, you may have seen me. It was a very busy day, successful. Weather was stunning. Everyone got sunburned. Brilliant. But yeah, I enjoyed it too, Simon. So I'm glad you did. And Pingu welcomes the Beasley. Well, Simon, you've arrived already. And we now have 2 Simons in the live stream plus a Simone. So we're rich in Simonites. And Stephen S. Paul confirms to Simone about the question about breaking a car window if there's an animal trapped in it when it's hot and sunny like this. That in America they can get the animal out that way. Matt Dickens perhaps backs up what I said and said it's not legal. yeah, it may not be legal, but morally, it's probably right. If I broke someone's car, and you know, what, I probably would break their window and argue the toss afterwards because I just think it's abhorrent that people can leave animals in cars when it's 25, well, sunny summer. Um, Simon says, while your instinct might be to smash the window and break into the car, without proper justification, this could be classed as committing criminal damage. 25th of July, 2022. That's a. I'm assuming that's some kind of Google or gov.uk answer. Yeah, it's a good debate. It's a good debate, and one we must continue because it's obviously pertinent because it's scorching hot. We're in the middle of a heat wave, uh, and people do this. Simone says, by the time the Roses have arrived, the animal will be dead. Yes. Matt says, old car thieves trick. The spark plug has a ceramic on it. Break a pea-sized piece off and flick it at a window. It shatters it. I won't try that next time I break a spark plug. Simon says, true in some cases, probably the police. Simone welcomes Simon B. Welcome. Two Simons. Don't let the Simons cross. Simon, I don't think that's going to happen. Simon Beasley, however, Simon Beasley's dad, got a Toyota Carina from Aylesbury Toyota in the 1980s. And my mother bought a brand new 1985 Austin Metro from Dunham and Haynes Rover in Leighton Buzzard in the 1980s also. Dunham and Haynes were, I think, about where Tesco's is now. I remember that garage. Pingu Concord says Simon et al. 2023. Matt Dick says there's a niche. Oh, well, we like niches. A niche loophole where if you have justification that it was done to cause the animal harm or death on purpose. Yeah. That's you'd have to kind of argue that. You'd have to stick to your story, wouldn't you? Simon B says B Reg, so that's an 84, and I think Mum's Metro was 85, which is a C Reg. So there we are. Dinosaur Dad Ross says SJ and SB. Simon Jeffries and Simon Beasley. And Simon says, what a lovely stream it's been tonight. And that's presumably after having just visited the toilet. Matt says, handy tip, if you ever lock your keys in your car, guy in a scrapyard told me, then moaned when asked to break the third window. Mine's 99 says, you had a Dutton Foreshore near me. Yes, there was a Dutton Foreshore at Aylesbury in Oxford, I think. And in fact, the 25, the little wire edge 25 that I rescued last year, didn't actually put on YouTube that much because before I really started doing lots of YouTube videos. So, farmer up the road had this red Nightfire red, Firefrost red 25 sitting in his field doing nothing. And there wasn't actually that much wrong with it. I got it going again and drove it for a month or so myself, and then sold it to a local lad. And I think it's still going. So that was that car was bearded and bangered before beards and beardry and bangersism was much of a thing. And Simone asks Simon if he flushed afterwards. Ross says, big trouble here for owners who leave babies in car. We get 40 degrees plus. Yeah, it's not just animals, it's anyone. Simon says Dunham and Haynes is now flat. So that's whatever that block is to the right, near Lindslade Tyres. Between the Tesco's and Aldi's turning and Lindslade Tyres. I know because I used to live in Lindslade. So I've been there. People are right. Matt Dickens is going for a poo and a Calippo. That is how rock and roll stars live. And Matt Dickens is a rock and roll star. Simon Beasley is Linslade also. Linslade is a fine place. Well, it's a long walk to the pubs, I find. The best, but yes, west of the canal. West of the canal, sir. But now I'm in Aylesbury, which is basically the ghetto of the local area. Right. I said about 20 minutes ago I was going to go and sort my hay fever out because everything's rather blurry. And now people are putting more comments in because I say I'm going to go. But I'll quickly read them because I can't resist. Pingu says, how much do you pay to have tyres fitted in your neck of the woods, Rob? I don't really know, to be honest. I think the last set of tyres I bought had fitted was the Goodyear Eagle F1s to go on the 260. But they are premium tyres, and that was like 600 odd quid plus VAT. But I didn't want to put rubbish tyres on the 260, even though it actually wouldn't have mattered because it's done like 250 miles since I got it fixed the first time. But yeah, I think on a rear wheel drive car of that power, you've got to have decent tyres. But yeah, so that was the Goodyear Eagle F1s. I think the BRM, I did do the tyres on that. I didn't pay that much. Got some cheaper tyres because it's not a car that's driven that much. Probably 250 all in for the BRM. Matt Dickens says, don't get them mixed up. Oh, that's Simon saying to Matt Dickens. And then Miles says, I've still got 200 lines of data entry to complete. That sounds like a punishment from prep school. Father, I'm sorry. I'll do better in choir next time. No, 200 lines. It sounds like my school. Are you caught running in the corridor? You must do 100 lines. I must not run in the corridor. Simone has a rattling brake caliper on TC. We're taking a look tomorrow. That sounds like content coming from Hooked on Classics. And now the comments have stopped. I'm hoping to go. I'd like to go. Can I go? Is it okay if I go? I'll let you read Matthew _ joke because it's quite funny, but I'm not reading it out because I want to go. Mark Bad Book says, thank you, great life. Thank you, Mark, for being part of it and making it great. Pingu says, thanks, Rob. Simon B says, thanks, and I hope to see you again, Simon. And if you want to have a local car meetup, then get in touch via the Facebook group Beards and Bangers, the private group, not the page. I don't bother with the page anymore. I don't really get pages. It's too complicated. Simon says, Hooks on Classics, I'm dismissed. Thank you very much. Simon says it's been a blast. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Simon. Underscore says, cheers off the seat. Well, I shall. And Toodles. And Dunster says, boobs, little buttock smacking. Hope you read this. That also, lol. Those words I will always read and I will treasure. If you haven't already hit the like button, then please smash it now. Or as Simone would say, like the smash button. I'll watch out for those shadow figures and the draw. Can I bring a beer to MK? Not now, sir. No, it's bedtime. It's a hay fever tablet and then bed. Get the chewing off the table. Yeah. When I'm shopping for tyres, Stephen S. Paul says, I look out for the round ones. And on that note, and that's very wise advice, I'm going. Goodbye.